Hello everyone, welcome to another problem solving session with GMAT by example. Only about 6% people get this question wrong. So this is one of the simpler questions that we have discussed on our channel. The main goal here is the following, right? To really understand how the expenses and quantities are related to this circular diagram that is given as part of the question. It is more of a data interpretation question, and it also correlates to the area of sector that was discussed in my comprehensive guide to circles for the beginners. Without taking too much time, let's get started. However, if you have any questions or you want me to solve other questions in official guide, please feel free to comment. I personally respond to all the comments. And if you find this video helpful, do not forget to press like. Let's get started. So the information given in this question is the following. The circle represents all the expenses that are done by company H, and each of the sectors gives you the expenses for each of these divisions. And we are asked what is the expense for division R. We are going to really focus on how are the expenses of each of these divisions related to this angle that is given, and what does it mean. When I say that the expenses of my company H is this circle, I really mean that expense can be represented as the area of H, right? So this whole thing is H. When I take a portion of this area, which is this X, I'm saying that the area of this particular part of the pie is representative of my division R's expenses. So it is still portion of that big pie of H. What that translates to is this. The overall expenses of the company is the circle. However, R is a small division inside the company H, and we know that the expenses of that division R would be a portion of the pie. And the best way to represent the portion of a pie is through a sector of the pie. And how are they related? Let's see. The area of the circle is equal to pi R squared, which is actually equal to half multiplied by 2 pi R squared, 2 pi being the 360 degrees of the circle. Area of the sector is given by half theta R squared. The theta is the angle subtended by the sector at the center, or the central angle of the sector. For division R, we have half x R squared. Now the ratio of expenses of H with division R would be equal to the ratio of the area R and H. And when you divide R by H, you get x divided by 2 pi. So the portion of expenses for R is determined not by anything else but only by the central angle of the R. This is what it means. So R is equal to x by 2 pi multiplied by h, x being the central angle of R. Rest of the information you already know. 2 pi is 360 degree or 2 pi radians. You already know H because it is given as total expense of 5.4 million. So this is the important relationship that you must understand when solving this question. Once you understand this relationship, that once you know the value of X, you also know the proportion of the expenses of R. Once you know the proportion, you can multiply that portion with H to get the expense for R. So if you're given the value of X, then you definitely know that X is given, and we were only dependent on X to get the proportion of R. So this is going to be sufficient to answer the question. Now in statement 2, you are given something different. You are given that S and T equals twice of R. So this and this, when you add them up, you get 2 times R. However, nothing else is given, right? This is a 360 degree pie. They could all be bunched up like this, or they could be spread out, making a 270 degree angle. As far as you don't know anything about Q and P and how that relates to all of these three, you cannot really find X. And since the whole thing depends on finding X, this is going to be insufficient. So the answer to this question will be A. Only statement 1 is sufficient to answer the question. The question is easy. If you are a beginner, the most important thing you should take away from this question is, number 1, GMAT is about quant reasoning, not really calculations. As you can see, we have not done really any calculation. Number 2, data can be represented in form of a circle, and sectors are nothing but a portion of that pie or circle. Number 3, don't get intimidated by complex diagrams. Just by simple reasoning, you can solve most of the questions. And finally, this is an easy question. Getting this question wrong in GMAT exam would result in a bigger penalty than if you had gotten a higher level or bigger difficulty level question wrong. It is very important that when you get simple questions, you knock them out of the door and get them right to move on to the next level of the computer adaptive test. Hope you found this helpful. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. All the best with your prep.